Catalog ads are easily one of the most powerful tools in Meta, but most marketers never unlock their true potential. For years, I've helped brands go from wasting hundreds of dollars a day to making millions a week by running catalog ads that are easy to scale. And in this video, I partnered with Marpipe to show you the exact process from beginning to end so that you can launch, optimize, and scale catalog ads and maximize your profits. I've also broken this video down into timestamps and chapters that you can find in the description down below, so you can save this video and come back to it next week, next month, next year as you evolve and want to get even more advanced. Let's break this down. What are catalog ads and why do they matter? While these ads originated on the Meta platform, they appear everywhere, even connected TV. You simply upload your product feed or connect Shopify, and then the machine will use that to show the right product to the right person at the right time to make you the most amount of money. So now let's talk about how to set up your product feed. And it's really as simple as 3 steps. This is what you need to do. You set it up once and it works on every single platform. Step number 1 is you need to build or connect your product feed. Now, if you're on Shopify, there are one-click solutions to connect to your Meta, your Google, your Pinterest, your TikTok, your Snapchat. Every feed is basically built in with a button click. Step number 2 is you sync with your ad platform. Every ad platform has an interface for your feed. And once you connect it, you can build ads instantly. Which brings us to step number 3. You connect your tracking. This is how the platforms can track the user behavior based on the ads that you're spending money on, like view contents, add to carts, purchases, etc. Okay, can you tell how excited I am? Like, this is the easiest way of making money and it's super fun. Now that your catalog is built, and your feed is live, and your tracking is firing, it's time to turn that setup into sales. We're gonna reduce CAC and build LTV. This is the fun part. So let's start with my favorite, Meta. When setting up a catalog ad in Meta, they really give you 2 primary options. The first being DABA, which is dynamic ads for broad audiences. This is prospecting. Facebook uses all the data that they have on everybody in the world and every website they've been to make sure that the right person sees your ad at the right time. And this is great, especially for brands that have a lot of SKUs, like dozens or hundreds. You could just scale your business using just this one campaign and never really have to touch the ad platform ever again. You let the algorithm do all the targeting and testing and hard work. Your job is to give it the best products. And remember that your creative is your product feed. At a very basic level, you need clean titles, a white background, and mobile-first images. Our goal here is high impression volume, low CPMs, and a really broad reach where we make a profit and can continue to add budget to our campaign. Next, we have catalog retargeting, which is for retention and recovery. This is where we bring back product viewers and add to cart users and even previous buyers to show them the exact right product and offer at the right time. And this is a great way to land that sale or even upsell people or give them a bundle based on their last viewed products and purchases, even if the last viewed product isn't from your store, which is incredible. And to be honest, I've seen people get to hundreds a day or thousands a day without even hitting the retargeting. And by the time they add it, I've seen folks get to 5 figures a day and they literally only run catalog ads. This is happening around the world. You can do this. So we just covered a lot of opportunities, but there are some simple best practices that apply everywhere. So I want to talk about 5 things really quick to make sure that you maximize the value of your investment so that you make the most amount of money with the least amount of work. Rule number 1, mobile first creative. Design around product focused visuals that are either square or vertical without a lot of clutter. Rule number 2, clear product titles. And there's a very simple formula that works for basically everybody. It's brand, type, attribute. Like Jack Archer, slim fit tee, black. No emojis, no fluff, no keyword stuffing. Make it simple enough for somebody to actually be able to read on their phone in like a little box. There's not a lot of characters, so you don't need to try to trick somebody into clicking on your ad. You don't want that. You want the people that are actually really interested to know exactly what they're getting right away. That's the trick. Make it simple. Rule number 3 is to sync your inventory. Don't advertise what's out of stock and use automation to pause the items that are currently not available. Rule number 4, proper tracking. Like, I can't tell you how important this is. Maybe I should have made it rule number 1. The product ID in the feed equals the product ID in the pixel or SDK. And we're gonna get to this in a little bit, but you can also set up custom events for new versus returning customers in different categories. We're gonna get into some really fun stuff here in a little bit, so stick around. Rule number 5, feed cleanliness is profit. If your feed is messy, your ads will be messy. Fix your data. It's the foundation of everything. Remember, you are using machine learning platforms. Before we move on, let's dive into some best practices here to really make sure you have a checklist for everything you need to know before we make everything a lot more complicated. So, first off, let's focus on getting started right. You can start with a full catalog. It is absolutely okay to launch with everything you've got that's in stock or available for purchase. But remember, you can strategically test subsets of product sets like bestsellers and high margin SKUs or seasonal products to improve that efficiency. Sometimes this might mean that you leverage everything in prospecting and high value stuff in retargeting, or vice versa. Perhaps you prospect with your best efforts and then you do retargeting with everything, putting your best foot forward and then saying, hey, grab anything you want. There are reasons for each of these and they are business specific, but these are the strategies you can implement on day one for best overall efforts. Next, remember to use mobile first visuals. When you're just starting out, your day one ad, focus on getting clean vertical images with zero clutter. Let the product shine. As you begin to understand what product sets have value and which targeting audiences are worth it and can scale and which ones are complete wastes of money, then you can really get into some creative testing, especially with Marpipe's templates. And this is where you are now spending your time and effort where it produces the most result. Keep it simple, get good data, then dive super deep. Lastly, remember that you need to write titles that convert. Keep it simple. Brand plus type plus key attribute. You don't need any emojis. You don't need any filler. You don't have a lot of characters. People are making choices in microseconds, subconsciously. So give them exactly what they need, like Jack Archer, slim fit tee, black. Now let's focus on the targeting that works. And there's a couple very simple rules that I need to make sure you understand. First off, when doing prospecting, meaning when you have ads that could reach anyone, let the platforms find the right people. Do not use exclusions. Don't exclude customers. Don't exclude previous buyers. Don't try to funnel hack. Trust the machine to handle the overlap. If it works and you scale it, that's all that matters. And remember that the more customization you put into the targeting, the more expensive it is to reach the best people. It is not in the best interest of any social media platform to show your content to somebody that doesn't want to see it. They're not trying to steal your money. So let them do their job. They're the best in the world at it. You're in a business relationship with them. Take advantage of it. Don't micromanage the greatest machines in the world at what they do better than anything else in the history of humanity has ever done. When it comes to retargeting, I want you to start with roughly a 10,000 action pool. That means you're going to focus on building an audience of around 10,000 actions. Maybe it's product views or add to carts. And remember that 10,000 add to cart events might only be 7,000 people. Some people might have added multiple products to the cart. And you want to use the level of the funnel and recency to build this audience. And remember, recency matters more than the depth within the funnel. Focus on people who acted more recently. These are people who are more likely to have not made a decision somewhere else. What that means is, if to get to 10,000 actions, it is everybody who viewed a product page in the last 7 days. That is more valuable than everybody who added a cart in the last 30. Now, let's get into scaling your catalog campaigns. Use frequency to gauge your retargeting scale. When you're assigning budgets, remember that your retargeting efforts generally will not be able to scale their daily spend above a daily frequency of about 2 to 2.5. Above that, you are really saturated, and odds are your CPMs will spike, but your bank account won't. So once you get up to that level, don't expect that ad to be able to spend any more money. or any ads within that audience being able to achieve any additional spend. When trying to scale your prospecting efforts, look at the blended CPA across the entire campaign. Remember that your prospecting feeds your retargeting. It's totally okay for prospecting not quite to be good enough if your retargeting is doing amazing. These are the handshake and the close. They are complementary efforts. So if your results are good enough, focus on scaling the retargeting until you hit that 2 to 2.5 a day, then focus on scaling the prospecting. This way you're always taking advantage of the attention that you've paid to acquire, and then you're just ramping up the volume of opportunity of the great funnel you've built. Lastly, if you are using campaign level budgets, set minimums on your retargeting ad set to make sure they continue to deliver as you add more budget. This way, as you scale the campaign, you're not just guaranteeing that all of the money is going to go to the prospecting ad set. Your retargeting will consistently see budgets. And as you see the daily frequency drop from a 2.0 and 2.5 down to a 1.5, 1.8, something like that, you know that you can raise that minimum to maintain and even improve your efficiency as you scale. Now, the last thing we need to cover here, platform-specific mindsets. Catalog ads don't change how platforms behave. Facebook is brand discovery. Google is high-intent search. TikTok is top of funnel attention. Catalog ads enhance these roles, but they don't rewrite them. Facebook will always be better than Google at reaching a net new person. Google will always be better than Facebook at getting somebody who's really interested to buy now. And TikTok is going to be way worse than Google at doing that. Every one of these platforms has a role. Their role in your marketing mix doesn't change just because the tool does. Consumer behavior doesn't change because your ad product is different. Remember that feed cleanliness equals profit. Clean data equals better delivery. Make sure that your inventory is synced to avoid wasting money on out-of-stock items. Bad feeds equal expensive ads. When done properly, your feed should update potentially once a day. And you need to make sure that it's referencing an accurate depiction of what you can actually fulfill. The worst thing is that an amazing product sells through, and then the next week you spend all the profits that you made running catalog ads to get people to click on that product and they can't buy it. And you basically just threw all your money away. Don't do that. It's so simple to fix. And any good catalog management system will do this automatically for free out of the box. I've never seen this mistake happen once when somebody uses Marpipe. Nobody's ever wasted money on bad ads making this mistake. And the last piece of advice here is track with precision. Make sure that your product IDs match across your feed and your pixel. If you can set up new versus returning customer events to optimize your targeting and insights, go with it. And we're going to get into a lot more stuff here. I just want you to make sure that the data you see, not only is it accurate in what information the platform is tracking, but also make sure that what it's tracking is accurate to what your store really has. You can have 100% accurate numbers focusing on completely illegitimate information. And that is a great way to lose a lot of money. And you're here to make sure that never happens. So we've covered the basics. You have the foundation. You have your feed and platform-specific strategies to maximize the value of the money that you spend, whether it's prospecting or retargeting, anywhere you're spending that money. So now let's focus on some more advanced tactics to scale these campaigns with a profit-first approach so that you waste less time and make more money. So again, we've covered the basics. Now let's get into some more advanced stuff. This is profit-first catalog campaign scaling tactics. If you've made it this far, you're not just trying to run ads. You're trying to build a machine that makes you money while you sleep. Let's dive into real money, not fake metrics. Starting with GPT. GPT stands for gross profit per transaction, and that's phenomenally more important than CPA, or the attributed cost per sale, cost per acquisition. This is your most important metric. Now, this might come across as a hot take, but something that all elite marketers know is that your job is not to get a lower cost per purchase. It's to make more money with every dollar that you spend. And those are two very different things. Again, GPT is gross profit per transaction. This measures the real profit generated from each purchase. And it also ignores attribution bias and gets you much closer to the real money in the bank account. This helps you scale intelligently instead of just chasing cheap conversions that are far less incremental. So once again, let's cover why GPT beats CPA by focusing on the metrics and what it tells us. CPA says how much did that purchase cost us, whereas GPT shows us how much profit did that purchase actually generate. Remember that scaling isn't about getting cheaper conversions. It's about generating higher volumes of profit that you can reinvest in the growth of your business. Real money, not hope. Now, before we move on, I just want to also tell you how to define these metrics. CPA is how much money did you spend and how many conversions did you get. But GPT is what is the difference between that CPA and the average order value. So it's AOV minus CPA. And that's, again, really, really important. It's not ROAS. It's not a margin. It's actual dollars and cents, or rand, or lira, or pounds, or whatever it is that you happen to be spending on. Euro, who cares? It's all the same thing. One is money. The other one is a fraction. Fractions don't pay bills. And if you're in the Meta Ads platform, it takes less than a minute to go to customize your columns and say AOV minus CPA. Now, your second big tip here is to segment your catalogs by business objective. This way you can push down CAC or lift up LTV by having very specific goals with very specific targets to very specific audiences, which is really, really powerful. Remember that not all products should do the same job. It's not about trying to sell everything. It's about having the right product do the right job in the right place for the right cost at the right time with the right person. And that's really what this is all about. Some products are built to acquire new customers. These are often lower cost or really easy to understand, or might be impulse buys, or perhaps they're the higher end thing that you then sell some subscription product to, but that's a customer acquisition device. Other products or offers are really designed to increase the LTV. These often have higher AOVs, or they're more premium versions of stuff, or bundles. So once we understand that, let's get into how we can use this insight in our overall strategy. So you can create a collection of all of your customer acquisition offers. And generally these, again, have lower cost, they're higher interest SKUs with a wider appeal. And conversely, you can build LTV collections. And this is where you put all of your higher priced items. Again, higher AOVs and bundles and premium offers. And now you're allowing the LTV offer to have a much higher CPA than the other one, but you're still focusing on GPT and volume of transactions. But now instead of just having orange, you have yellow and red, and really can optimize to what you need today. Do you want more net new customers for greater cash flow later, or more profit today? Which one do you want? Well, now you have complete control. Again, depending on the platform, you can use feed rules or these custom sets to make sure that you separate these items and set up specific budgets and goals for each one. The third option here is one that is criminally underleveraged: feed pruning. Feed pruning equals feed optimization. If your catalog is full of losers, it's really hard for the algorithm to win. So just get rid of the things that don't work. Nobody said you had to promote every single product. Most feeds are bloated. And that's the silent killer, really standing in the way between frustration and success. So here's a 3-step action plan to solve this problem for you with very little effort. The first is to check your product level reporting on a regular basis. I suggest you do it every single week. And it's easy to do in Facebook. You can just go to the breakdown, delivery, and then product ID section, and you can see the spend and level of clicks by every single product and SKU that you're having in every catalog. Then you can simply just go to your store, be it Shopify or wherever else, and understand the volume of conversions and the conversion rate of all of those products. If something's getting a ton of spend and making no sales, get rid of it. Which really brings us to step 2, which is cutting the products. Cut the ones with high spend and 0 conversions, or the bunch of bad reviews, or that might even be out of stock right now. If you remove these clutter SKUs and all the things that have a terrible click-through rate, you're gonna get a lot more traffic that's way more likely to buy. Basically, if you can focus your product catalog on spending the most amount of money on products where the conversion rate of that landing page is really high, then you're gonna make a lot more money. It's really that straightforward and simple. Think of your catalog as a sales team. You have to fire the dead weight. and you promote the closers, and you keep the message tight. Simply put, a leaner catalog puts more spend behind the products that sell more often. It's really that easy to scale with confidence. Now, quick note, this is what MarkPipe optimizations do for you automatically. Their latest optimization tool quite literally takes the conversion and revenue of all of your Shopify products and layers that against the spend by product inside of Meta and just allows you to clean up your feed right in the machine. Like, it can't be easier than that. And it will keep that machine clean and do it dynamically by adding a custom label to all the products worth keeping. And then you can use that custom label to build dynamic catalogs. A quick reminder here, what you can do is you create rules for what is eligible and ineligible for that product catalog. For instance, make sure that your product catalog cannot show a product that is out of stock. Or in this case, if custom label 0 is true, that means that product is a high spender that's highly converting, which means your product catalog should only be inclusive of items where the custom label 0 equals true and the product is in stock. Now you're only running ads to products that you can sell to people that are really highly converting that soak up a bunch of spend. That's a very, very easy way to make a ton of more money without any extra work. And it updates dynamically. That's easy mode. I really want you to understand here, you're no longer chasing cheap clicks. You're building profit-focused campaigns with data-based dynamic product sets, building around volume of opportunity and overall volume of profit in your bank account. And it's all done automatically. Okay, now before we move on to the elite catalog cult tactics, let's just take a moment to review the expert catalog strategy checklist here. These are your best practices to be better than 80% of anybody spending any dollar on a catalog ad. Let's get to it. First, profit is the goal, not cheap clicks. So begin to focus on tracking GPT, not just CPA. GPT equals gross profit per transaction. It shows you how much money each purchase actually made, not just what it cost to get. And to give an example, a $40 CPA that drives a $35 profit is better than a $20 CPA that only nets 10. You could make 2 sales at that $20 CPA and you still only net $20 in profit. The $40 CPA sale, while more expensive, is still far more profitable per dollar spent. You are making a higher gross profit per transaction. If you are trying to be profitable, it is not about the lowest cost sale. It is about the most profit per sale, and then getting the highest volume of that. Lastly, we got to focus on using GPT to make real budget decisions. Base your scaling decisions on the dollar returned per dollar spent, not vanity metrics or attribution lies. Remember, we all know that attribution at best is a little bit fuzzy, but something that we know to be certain is that every ad in our account, on every platform that we run ads, is facing the same level of fuzziness as all other ads, so we can make comparative decisions. If you want to make more money for the money that you spend, the easiest, simplest, most straightforward hack is to just focus on turning off ads where the CPA is above average and the GPT is below. And understand that what you are buying is profit. You are not selling products. It is about the unit cost to acquire revenue. That's why GPT is infinitely more important than ROAS. Part 2 of the expert strategy checklist here is to segment campaigns by objective. Not all products convert to all the same customers for the same reason. Some products exist to acquire new customers. Others are built to increase LTV. Do not treat them all the same. You can use product sets to separate the roles. You can absolutely have a CAC campaign with easy to buy, wide appeal SKUs that give you a higher volume of customer that's more likely to buy over and over again. This is your volume of transactions campaign, where the majority of those sales are to net new customers. Fun hack here, by the way, if you are measuring new customer as a column in your dashboard, which you should be doing, then you can just see which products get you the cheapest new customers at the best GPT. You can take the CPA and actually make it customer acquisition cost. That is a game changer. Also, you can have LTV campaigns, bundles, high margin offers, subscriptions even. You need to begin to look at your product sets as different people on your team that have different jobs in your company. Some are great at getting people to come in. Others are great at getting the people who already have to open up their wallet again and again. They are not the same. They have different targets and different values and different audiences. If you begin to segment by these objectives, you're going to make a lot more money. And when you begin to play with product sets, remember to keep product sets clean and focused. However you decide to manage your feed, remember that you can use custom labels to create rules of what's eligible or ineligible. And you can also manually create different sets. And this really allows you to assign the right goal to the right product. Don't mix roles in one campaign. And the third part of our checklist today is to prune the feed, cut the waste. You should be checking your product performance weekly. Remove SKUs with high spends and bad conversion rates, poor reviews, or bad delivery times. Remember, you can look to the breakdown by spend inside of your ad account towards each individual variant. Which ones soak up a ton of budget and don't deliver revenue? One of my brands last year, a pet business, there was a harness, and that harness soaked up over 70% of the overall spend inside of the catalog and was responsible for 5% of the overall revenue in the business. Removing that single product from the catalog feed improved the revenue per session by over 60% in less than a week. This stuff matters. The focus here is to remove SKUs that drag you down. When pruning your feed, remember to look beyond the CPA. Evaluate your SKUs by spend level, conversion rate, revenue per session, and alignment with your business goals. CPA alone doesn't tell you if a product deserves ad dollars. Focus on spending your money where it achieves your business goals the best. This game is not about making a profit anywhere. It's about investing in the best return so that you can make a lot more money. And lastly, I highly suggest you look into automating this pruning. Tools like MarPipe will filter by all of the things that you need, apply the custom labels to the product sets that you want, and they'll build them for you for maximum profit. This is a somewhat labor-intensive process. And the fact that it can now be done with the click of a button is an amazing opportunity you absolutely should be taking advantage of. All right, now let's get to the elite level catalog cult tactics that I guarantee you 98% of people haven't even thought about and is the reason you're going to win the game. I want to make sure that you're up to date on every single thing that you need to know about catalog ads and DPA. Best practices, data, news, everything. So I highly suggest you sign up for the Catalog Cult. It's free. All right, that being said, let's get to the next step because we've just begun. Okay, now this is where it gets super fun. This is the Catalog Cult Elite Tactics section. If you've made it this far, congratulations. You're no longer just running catalog ads. You have a profit generating device operating at a level that most marketers will never understand. This is for marketers who want to maximize the profitability of every investment in their campaigns, and not with hacks, but with clarity, control, and execution. So to kick us off, we're getting started with the 4PI framework, and this is a high-level version of this. But what really matters is that every ad that you run doesn't actually run in the way that you want it to. What really matters is understanding how the platform is using that ad and whether or not it's doing its job well. And we have to understand that the definition of success for every ad is different. Not every ad is supposed to convert at the same level of efficiency or with the same volume. Some are designed to grab attention at small profitability. Others are supposed to be super profitable, but probably not get nearly as much volume. And others are there just to drive as many repeat purchases as possible. And understanding that the platform is using all of your ads in different ways, even inside of the same ad set or campaign, you begin to understand that you have a team with different specialties. And then ultimately you can look at your team and see which members are good and which members are bad at their job. And the way you scale your business is by firing the bad ones and replacing them with ones that do that job better. So this is where we get into the 4PI framework. And what I want you to take a look at is spend, frequency, CPM, and efficiency. Generally speaking, ads that earn more spend tend to be higher in the funnel. They have a broader appeal to more people. These ads are inherently cheaper to show to people. So they get more spend. They do so at a lower frequency, at a lower CPM. And because they're more appealing to a broader group of individuals, that also means they're probably not the last touch point in the customer journey, so they're less efficient. These ads are what we call prospecting ads, not because they go to a prospecting audience, but because of the way the machine is using it. It is totally possible to have an ad that earns a ton of budget, have a lower frequency and lower CPM and lower efficiency than other ads, even in a retargeting ad set. What matters here is this fills the funnel for other ads. These ads that earn a ton of budget are likely to be less efficient, and that's totally fine. Inversely, it's totally common to have ads that don't earn a lot of budget, but have a much higher frequency and a much higher CPM and are way more efficient. How many times have you said, wow, this machine is so dumb. The ad that performs the best never gets spent. If you go back and look at it, almost categorically, these ads tend to have a higher frequency with a higher CPM, meaning the platform is showing this ad more often to premium inventory. That's because those people are in the bottom of the funnel. The ads that get more budget with a lower frequency and a lower spend that are less efficient sit at the top of the funnel. The way the machine is using your ads has very little to do with the audiences that you choose. And that's the big unlock here that really only elite level marketers begin to understand. Maybe some ads are too good at the job and it's earning like 80% of the spend and the frequency's down to like 1.01, 1.02 per day. And remember, frequency only matters when measured per day. Frequency over a week doesn't mean anything. And maybe that CPM is 70% cheaper than the average and the CPA is through the roof. That ad is too good at appealing to people who are not ready to buy. It's not the targeting that's the problem. That ad is being used in a way that it is not built to succeed at. That's just a bad employee. And that's okay. We can learn from that. And we might also find ads that have a really high frequency and a really high CPM that don't earn a lot of budget, but also are terrible at driving sales. These are retargeting ads. The machine is focusing on showing this ad over and over to somebody that's super high quality, but doesn't get them to buy. That's a bad closer. That's also a bad employee. We should get rid of those. And these ads might have a daily frequency like over a 2 and a CPM that's 20, 30, 50, 200% higher than your average. If you're paying more money per person to reach high quality individuals more often, that ad had better be more efficient than the average one. That's how you begin to understand, even at broad, even in retargeting, even when you're prospecting, even when you're just hitting people who've already bought from you. The way the machine is using your ads is how it fits in the customer journey and the funnel. That's so much more important in understanding the success and failure of your ads than what the target audience is. How it's being used is actionable data. The target audience is just the inventory that you're sending money into. It's completely possible to go prospecting in a retargeting audience and to have retargeting ads in your prospecting environment. That's completely possible. The 4PI framework is how you understand what's working and what isn't working. And what makes this really interesting is it lets you know how scalable your wins are. If you are running ads in a retargeting audience and that ad is crushing, it gets the best performance ever, but your frequency's at like 3 a day, and your CPM's at like 200 when everything else is at like a 40, that ad will not scale. In fact, that ad is probably not very incremental. It's probably hitting a whole bunch of people who are all ready to buy. That ad, while it's great, is ultimately not going to be what gets you to the next level or the level after that. So again, that ad might crush, but it's a liability, not an asset. I'd much rather get an ad that's half as good, but can spend 5 times more. That's what we're looking for. All we need is a win that allows us to scale, not the best win possible. The best marketers know that the goal is to be able to increase the budget, to generate profit so you can increase the volume of profit that you generate. It is not to find the absolute best ad according to attribution. It's building a team of ads that fill the funnel and ads that do the closing. It's completely possible that you might have an ad that otherwise against CPA might be barely above break even, but it gets a ton of budget and is the reason that your hyper profitable ads actually get to spend. And how many times have you turned off these ads that look bad on the platform and then everything else looks really great for like 3 days and then everything tanks? It's because you've turned off the spigot to fill the funnel and all you've done is drain the bucket with nothing left. You're trying to get blood from a stone and that's going to make you fail. This is how you judge how well your ad is at doing its job. And ultimately, when you lay this against a GPT, you can really begin to understand, am I doing a very good job at getting just a whole lot of people interested in my CAC product? Or is this ad crushing, but only because it's hitting a really small group of individuals that are likely to buy a high margin product? You could swing too far in either direction, but this is how you weaponize the data well above and beyond. Does this ad have a good CPA? Does this have a good ROAS? What is the audience? What you're gonna find out is that most of that information isn't actionable. When you do a 4PI against a GPT, you're really gonna begin to understand how you generate exponential profits. When you lean into that and begin to eliminate your waste, you make a lot more money. The second big catalog cult elite tactic is breaking down your delivery by product ID and then layering in custom events to understand the category and business objectives by the individual delivery on each individual product. That is huge, and most advertisers will never get this deep. I don't think most people even understand you could do this, but we're gonna break it down today because it is hyper powerful. So step number 1 here, and let's use an example in Meta, you're gonna go to your catalog ads campaign, and then you're gonna go up in the upper right-hand corner of your dashboard to breakdown, and then you're gonna go to delivery, and the very last option is gonna be product ID. And you're gonna see the spend by each individual product ID, which is great. But here's the problem. That's only telling you what product IDs get spend. It's not telling you what's converting. And even if something converts, it doesn't tell you what they buy. Because remember, people might see an ad for one product and buy something else. That happens all the time. So step number 2 is to set up custom conversion events. You want to start tracking things like bundles or high AOV product categories, and really whether a customer is new versus returning. These are all incredibly valuable pieces of information. Now, to build these custom conversion events is actually really simple. Every platform is a little bit different, but let me tell you an example on Meta how we do it. You go and build a custom conversion event, and in your product ID, when that purchase event fires, just make it all of the product IDs of whatever category. Perhaps it's all the pants, or all of the high ticket bundles, or all of the makeup that is red, or all of the bags, or all of the meal replacement shakes, or whatever it is that you're selling. Group them by category, and now you can understand what that ad is actually selling. And you're gonna find that 10 or 20 or even 50 or 60% of the sales you get from your ads aren't actually of the product that got the spend. Somebody clicked on that ad, went to your site, and then shopped around and bought something else. That happens all the time. Otherwise, your AOVs would always be the same, but they aren't. Ad to ad, day to day, your AOVs are almost always different. And that's because people aren't always buying the same product. Now, for extra special bonus points, if you're using a third-party data tool for perhaps in your Meta account to have Conversions API or any other platform, you could have that specify whether that customer is new versus returning, which becomes really interesting. You could own a great national department store with tens of thousands of SKUs, with ads showing a million different things, and have this one great dress be what gets 90% of the spend, but realize 50% of those sales are for new customers buying a bag. That's incredibly useful information. Now, that might be larger than your scale, but this is totally something that every brand is seeing. And if you're not looking at the data, you're basically flying blind. Now, what gets really interesting is you could begin to optimize your conversion events towards those new customers, or to bag buyers, or to hero product buyers, or high ticket bundle buyers. And when you begin to drag down into these little subsections, you can start to have high ticket catalogs or low cost customer acquisition devices. You can push for LTV products. You can really begin to move all of the key performance indicators in your balance sheet by the catalog ad. You're gonna get down to product set and audience level segmentation and ad level performance at how well it's doing its job based on how the machine is using it. Like, do you have a good prospecting ad or maybe a bad retargeting ad for your LTV product against people who've already bought? Now, another example is you might find you have a problem with your customer acquisition device where you have a product catalog of all of your CAC products. And when you're running that against prospecting audiences, it works up to a couple $100 a day. But when you push past that, your frequencies and your CPMs spike. Basically saying your ads only work at the bottom of the funnel. And you've identified that the problem is at the ad level within that audience because of the 4PI analysis against the GPT has told you what's going on. And you can look at all of the custom events of what's happening. Basically, once you get past a certain spend level, the number of new customers doesn't get any bigger. And the products that people are buying stray further and further away from the customer acquisition one. That's an incredible piece of information that weaponizes your decision making into, oh, what I need is a better ad that's gonna attract the attention of new people that aren't nearly as far down the funnel and getting them to be interested in buying my customer acquisition device so I can scale the front end of my business. That is incredible information, but if you're not looking at this, you'll never know. Now you can map spend to profit and to product and to audience. And the fun thing is, if you begin to run this at really small budgets against different audiences, you're gonna see what attracts the attention of people who've never bought before, or what gets people who've already bought back into my store. And you can do that at like $5 a day, and that's gonna give you substantially better information than any post-transaction consumer survey will ever give you. This turns your catalog into a signal machine. You're not just optimizing spend by performance, you're controlling the outcome and collecting some of the most valuable business information available at no extra cost. That's incredible. Another catalog called Elite Tactic, which unfortunately just is criminally underleveraged, is cross-referencing your ad spend with your landing page conversion rates. Pull in the conversion rate by product page. Understand really important information like the revenue per session and the bounce rate of all of your products. Match those top performing pages and SKUs with your ad spend. If all of your budget is going to those really poorly performing pages, you're just throwing money away. And in fact, you could even make a product set of just highly converting pages. And this is gonna be a very easy way for you to just scale to the moon on just pushing traffic to the products people want to buy. That's really easy. When you go through and do a big analysis, what you're probably gonna find is that a lot of your ads are driving traffic to pages that don't convert very well. Every business is guilty of this. I see it every single day, and brands that I run and many others, we're just all guilty of it because the experience of a catalog ad is very low context. Oh, that's interesting, let me check it out. But if that, oh, this is really interesting, let me check it out, has like a 0.1% conversion rate, and it's spending 20% of your money, just getting rid of that one single product will dramatically improve your profitability. What if that's happening dozens or hundreds of times in your store? And also understand that this is different by platform. What works on Meta might be very different than what works on Google. Because remember, the levels of intent are different. But now you're starting to get the whole picture. You understand what the machine wants to show, what users want to click on, and more importantly, what they actually want to buy. And you shouldn't be investing in promoting products that don't drive sales. That's just a great way to lose money, and that's not why we're here. We want to make money. Remember, it's not just about the ad anymore. That's honestly one of the last things of importance and why I love catalog ads. It's about the offer, it's about the product, it's about the customer journey, it's about setting up the machines to do all the hard work for us so that we can do more important things like build a better business and enjoy life and just stack the paper. That's what this is all about. Now that's a lot of really exciting stuff, so let's get to the catalog called Elite Tactics Checklist so that we can engineer profit with advanced optimization. The first fundamental here for the elite level is to master the 4PI framework. Understand that placement equals funnel stage. Is this ad for prospecting or retargeting or post-purchase? Is this to acquire a new customer or get somebody who's already bought to buy again? And where are they in their journey? Judge performance based on the role, not just the results. Next, we look at price and your CPM reality check. Low ROAS or GPT DABA ads can be extremely profitable when the CPMs are so much lower, and remember that they fill the funnel. Low CPMs with a low frequency that soaks up a lot of budget is the reason that your more profitable ads can spend more money. Ads with a high CPM and a high frequency that are super profitable will never be able to spend nearly as much as the other ones with a much lower CPM, because remember, the frequency is who is seeing the audience. The higher the frequency, the lower in the funnel. The CPM is what is the quality of that experience. Low CPMs mean people enjoy that content. High CPMs mean they don't. And that relates to efficiency. High frequency ads with an above average CPM should be more efficient because you are hitting premium inventory more often. And those people are only seeing your ads because they're looking to buy. Just keep in mind that ad that barely looks profitable, if it's got a low frequency and a low CPM and it's soaking up a whole bunch of budget, it's the reason that those better ads get any spend at all. There's a balance. And ultimately, your success is not to live and die by each individual ad, but the portfolio of ads across your entire ad account and all of the platforms you run ads. Moving on, we have to remember that it's all about the product. This is the right SKU for the job. Don't judge all products equally. Some drive volume, some close the sale, and some build LTV. Not every product has the same purpose in your business. Every product was made for a reason. Remember that on the other side of that computer screen, it's not just numbers, it's real people. Every product you promote is built for those real people, and they engage with your brand in a real way. And understanding what need are you fitting in that customer journey to be as profitable as you can is what this is really all about. And that brings us to intent. And that is your strategic outcome. Know the purpose of the ad. Is it to attract attention? Is it to convert high quality audiences? Or is it to reinforce messaging from other campaigns that aren't catalog at all? And measure these results accordingly. It is absolutely possible to run a ton of catalog at really low CPMs with really low frequencies to a super broad audience, and then to just retarget individuals with the highest profit margin item. And to be fair, you could do the exact opposite. You could have the majority of your ad spend going to your hero product and then just have your catalogs retargeting individuals that said no to that hero product or have come back before. And it can just pick up the rebounds and ultimately just make sure that the money doesn't fall through the cracks so that you're far more profitable and far more efficient and not working so hard to help all of your competition see success by making sales for them by not focusing on selling to the customers who are ready to buy. The second part of this is to track delivery by product ID and use custom events. Remember, you can break down your ad spend by SKU. That's amazing to see which ads are getting spent. But if you begin to upload custom conversions, you can layer intent. You can even work on this just by grouping product IDs or variant IDs or even product categories so that when a purchase event occurs, you can understand what type of purchase is this. You might never get that breakdown at the ad to ad level. And remember, if a purchase goes to a certain ad, it doesn't mean that somebody bought what you're promoting. Plenty of people see an ad for a Big Mac, but buy a shake and fries, and if you're like me, maybe some chicken nuggets. Just remember that what's in the ad isn't necessarily what people buy. One of the greatest examples in the history of marketing when it comes to this simple concept is actually NASCAR racing. If it wins on Sunday, it sells on Monday, but nobody's buying a race car. The point is, if you can get the attention, people might come in because they saw a Corvette on TV, but they buy a minivan. There is so much more than just that product when somebody's making a choice. You can track these high-value actions across bundles, premium purchases, or different thresholds. This reveals where profit is actually coming from. These can match your product categories on Google Shopping. These can let you know whether it's a new customer or a returning customer. You can understand if people are buying variations of your hero product or if these catalog ads are selling everything else. This is incredibly useful information, and if you layer GPT with custom events, you're going to really, truly begin to understand and be able to match batch product delivery to true profit. Turn your catalog into a precision dashboard, not a black box. They've given the opportunity to you to see everything you need. It's just most people never knew to ask. You are not most people. That's why you're here. That's why your bank account is going to look fundamentally different. The third pillar here of the Elite Tactics checklist is to diagnose landing page conversion rate. We've talked about this previously in this video, but what separates the folks who do the job from the folks who get the job done is understanding how to weaponize this information. Cross-reference with Shopify or your Google Analytics or your heat map, whatever you're looking at. Pull the conversion rate, the bounce rate, the add to cart rate for each product page, and understand the revenue per session. Remember, bad pages can kill great ads, and sometimes the number one offer you have is being buried behind the thing that you've been driving all your money to, and it's your ad spend that's actually hiding all of your good money. Many of you followed my journey with Under Outfit, where we went from $50,000 a month to over $1 million a week. Understanding that the comfort shaping bra with adjustable straps with the variant of the color that we called sand, understanding that that single SKU and variant actually was this secret weapon that we had, and that when a woman bought that, their LTV was 5 to 10 times greater than any other cohort we had, which we could only get if we're diagnosing these landing pages and understanding the customer journeys. When we began to leverage that, we went from spending a couple thousand a day to having an ad that spent $2 million in just 6 months. This is what is so incredibly important for you to understand. Now, once you begin to match your spend with page performance by curating your feed and really not weaponizing just on conversion rate, which is basically the ROAS of CRO, but really beginning to understand where your high click SKUs have well below average revenue per sessions, these money pits, when you pause or fix them, everything changes. Because it's not just about pruning that thing out of your catalogs. Sometimes the reason that thing works is because people want it. Just fix the landing page or the offer and everything will change. Going back to Under Outfit, the number one unlock we had in that business was the average woman bought 2.5 of those bras. And we did everything to improve the revenue per session we possibly could, but actually understanding that that was the thing that dominated. What we did is we just offered to buy 3, get 1 free. And at roughly $40, that product drove the LTV from maybe $100 to, on the first sale in that offer, was worth $120. Those women came back to buy 3-4 times a year. Our LTV was around 105. Weaponizing all this information made it 500 plus. Now it's over 1,000. This is the kind of stuff you need to understand, and that will allow you to optimize for the full journey. It's not just about the ad anymore. It's about the offer, the experience, and the close. The only reason you're promoting any of these things is because when somebody sees your product in that catalog ad and they go to your page, that's a profitable investment for you. If you don't understand these numbers, you're just saying, well, I threw up a catalog, it worked, or it didn't. That's a binary choice with you having zero control. That level of frustration and lack of clarity and actionable insight ends today. You are going to now be a part of the elite with control, with clarity, and that's going to bring you a lot of cash. You're going to launch smarter. Don't just push ads. Engineer campaigns by objective and outcome. You're going to be spending based on true signals. You're going to be layering in profit metrics, SKU level data, and conversion intent. You're not going to be guessing anymore, and that's going to allow you to optimize to the SKU. Your catalog is your media plan. Trim the waste, double down on the closers, and scale with confidence. This opportunity is so huge, and the reality is all of this is at your fingertips. And I'm really excited to see the success that you get by weaponizing this level of quality, of control, and clarity. Because once you understand these numbers, once it's not, I threw money into the machine and I prayed for money in the bank account. Once you can craft and engineer and really use data as a weapon instead of an excuse to be confused, the success you deserve is actually going to be so far beyond what you think winning actually looks like. So what I want you to get here is that this is the new standard. If you're this far in the video, you already understand 99% more about catalog ads than most people ever will. And you're gonna be able to weaponize them on every single platform in the most appropriate way. You're gonna be launching smarter. You're gonna be spending on data that's actually actionable and optimizing down to the SKU and the landing page and the business results that you're looking for by each individual platform and their various levels of definition of success. This is what elite looks like, and your results in your bank account are gonna prove it. And quick shout out, these are all things that we cover in depth in Disruptor Academy over here. And yes, I've been shouting out MarPipe constantly throughout this video because I think they are hands down the #1 solution for all of these things. The fact that half of these elite tactics just come right out of the box, easy to do in a way that nobody else is even talking about, is a cheat code. And if you want any of the guides that we talked about here today, all of the information, all of the slides and the stuff that we didn't even cover, remember, it's free right here. And down below, you're gonna find links for MarPipe and so much other fun stuff, so check it out. Most people will never get past the boost post button, but you made it this far down into information that most people never even knew existed. Using some of the best tactics from some of the best marketers in the world with one of the most easily leverageable tools to generate the most amount of profit on the least amount of work. Good on you. That's what this is all about. Now, we've talked a whole bunch about how to run these ads, but one of the things we didn't mention is the fact that a tool like MarPipe will give you enriched catalog creatives. Like, you can throw in templates. So it's not just the white background and simple text. Like, you can make Black Friday, Mother's Day, promotional sale efforts, just A/B testing, lifestyles, like a bunch of other things that literally you just can't do anywhere else. And it comes right out of the box. Like, that's amazing. You should be using this. It'll pay for itself in a matter of days. So let's recap. You know what catalog ads are and why they're one of the smartest ways to scale at scale on any ads platform. You've learned how to set them up on Meta and Google and TikTok and Pinterest and AppLovin and Snapchat, everywhere. Like, you know how to weaponize this information regardless of the platform. You've seen how to run prospecting and retargeting the right way. And now you've got the strategies to turn your catalog into not only profit engines, but also business intelligence devices that'll help you scale everything else. So that wraps up the first part of our course. Now I wanna give you something extra. You've just seen the full step-by-step process, but to bring this to life with real-world application, I sat down with Dan Pantello, founder of MarPipe, and the guy whose platform has managed more catalog ad spend than almost everyone else combined. This bonus fireside chat goes deeper into how the best marketers apply these exact principles in practice. And it's here exclusively for those of you who are serious about winning. Let's jump in.
Think shareholder value increased.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We gotta always be increasing shareholder value. You know how it is.
That's right.
And speaking of shareholder value, you were in here in the office yesterday. You were just laying down some really crazy knowledge that we haven't, I think, heard before on DPA. Here at MarPipe, DPA is what we do all day, every day for large brands. And you've got some insights that I thought were like really awesome to share with the people. And there's like a few things from our conversation yesterday that I just wanted to like double click on and have you like elaborate on.
You've made it this far through the video, so you obviously care a lot about catalog ads. But if you're not using MarPipe, you're easily leaving a ton of money on the table. It's the simplest way to 2x or 10x your return. I trust them with my money, and so should you. Down below is a link for you to get started for free. It's a no-brainer. This will pay for itself in spades before you know it. All right, let's get back to the video because we're just getting started.
Number one of the things I think is really interesting is your take on like ASC versus like Advantage Shopping Plus campaigns versus OG DABA, right? What is the difference? Explain the difference and explain your unique position on like where you think people should start.
Yeah, so great question. So the real difference is a lot of people are running catalog ads in their Advantage Shopping, or they have the option of running catalogs in the catalog ads campaigns. So generally speaking, the difference between those two is how the machine actually works. So Advantage Shopping campaigns is like the old engaged shoppers behavior from old school folks from like, remember, in the late 20 teens. And the idea is you're showing content to people because they're in the market to buy. It doesn't necessarily mean that we're leveraging the signals and intent. It's more like this person is in market. Let me show them ads because they're in the buying mood. The actual tech behind DPA ads and catalog ads is that you're showing people content because of their behavior and intent based around what they're trying to buy. Let me be more specific. So when you have a catalog ad, that is referencing color and flavor and size and all the metadata of the product listing. So, in your wonderful video with Dara, you mentioned like these boots for like a wedding, right? And so it's a size 10, it's brown leather, right? Like all of these things that make it really interesting, the material, the size, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, we don't have a size 10. So why would I see that ad, right? So there's that functionality of saying, all right, you've been to a bunch of different spots and we know you're in market for it. You're looking at something maybe brown leather, size 10, around $200. You don't want it to be suede. You want it to be X, Y, and Z, all of these other things.
Yeah.
The catalog ad is then going to show you with either DABA or retargeting, going to show you that piece, the catalog ad is going to show you that product based on your signals that you're giving because of all of the other products that you've added to cart, view content, all of those things. Yeah. So it's leveraging consumer intent down to the individual aspects of the product.
Yes. This is ASC.
No, that's just normal. That's normal catalog.
Normal catalog.
When you get into ASC, you're kind of leveraging something similar, but you're also trying to show people the ad because that person is trying to buy. So ASC knows that you're in the market to purchase, but I'm forcing my ad onto you because you want to purchase. It's less because of the individual aspects of each individual product and more about the fact that you're in the buying behavior.
So ASC cares more about purchase intent.
Yes.
And old school DABA, let's say, cares more about like the specific attributes of the product,
right,
being matched with someone who it would fit with.
Yeah. So I always tell people, like, I generally run old school, just normal, because what I want is to match the product with what the customer is looking for, right? So it's not necessarily that you're in purchase intent. It's that you have interest in this content, interest in this product. And I'm inferring from that you also potentially have, if you're adding to cart on 7 of my competitors and you haven't bought yet, you're in market, right? Yeah. And so that's old school DPA retargeting before DABA was even introduced. Yeah. Now, with advantage shopping, it's more like, I know you have your credit card out. I'm one of 10 people trying to flock to you to get you to buy from me. Yeah. But the reason you're seeing my ad is because you have the credit card out, not necessarily because you're in direct market for that individual product. Now, it's going to show you the product from my catalog that best fits what you're looking for, but you're not seeing it because you're looking for that individual product. It's more because you want to buy. So there's a slight nuance in that. And ultimately, ASC campaigns for DABA and catalog ads are a bit of a luxury. They're great, especially for specific business use cases. Like if I'm trying to run a sale campaign, I'll probably do that in advantage shopping because I want people that are looking to buy. I don't want to build up a mountain of user data for intent on all this stuff. My campaign's running for 7 days. I gotta make a sale. Awesome. Anybody with the credit card out, I'd rather flock to the purchase intent rather than the consumer behavior. Right. So in that case, awesome. It's not necessarily my evergreen effort, but if I can afford it, it's a great luxury to leverage.
Right. Do you think that brands should generally, as like a one-size-fits-all recommendation for performance marketers, do you think that they should generally run a mix of both or lean like heavily into one or the other?
I think it also depends on what you're trying to do as a business. I think if you have a hero offer and you know your profitable scaling margin, you're running your business on something, and then you're running catalog as supplemental incremental business. And that way I would run it old school. Just like, hey, look, we're selling the Big Mac. If you want to come to McDonald's, we also have a catalog that's selling you the French fries and the chocolate shake and all the other stuff on the menu. We know that as a business, we can attract your attention and monetize it with our hero stuff. But you might be interested in other things. With DABA, we'll be able to retarget people because we're conquesting our competitors' funnels. And with retargeting audiences, we will better convert people in our own funnels. But ultimately, we are just showing people stuff incremental to our normal business. So we're not focused on short-term results. We're more just trying to build a volume of business. Yeah. If, however, I'm more trying to leverage catalog in an omni-channel fashion, I'm trying to make specific concerted efforts. In that case, I might leverage more in the advantage shopping because I'm less focused on machine learning and I'm more focused on immediate results. Right. So I think it really depends on business model.
Yeah.
And it also depends on what's in the catalog and what my objective is. So if I'm just trying to make a Mother's Day sale or Black Friday sale, I'm going to probably go advantage shopping with, with the treatments, such as the discounts and all sorts of stuff. That's awesome. Yeah. If this thing is running all year long, I'm not going to run advantage shopping because I'm also inherently paying a higher CPM to reach fewer people.
Yeah. Yep.
So I'm ultimately paying extra to limit the scope.
Right.
But I don't need to do that because DPA is incremental to my normal business.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly. No, and I love the way that you put it. Like the original DPA format is great for like the broadest possible net, right? And casting the widest net that you can for conversions, which makes it much more scalable,
right? Than
ASC. And ASC is the way you put it. It's almost kind of akin in a performance behavior, almost like retargeting, right?
Sure.
Where it's like, yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money, you're gonna pick up like a lot of these conversions, but like there's only so much that you can scale that like really efficiently.
And it's also inherently less incremental.
Yeah. Right.
So some of those sales you're gonna get in ASC are also gonna be sales that show up as attributed to your Google and to your TikTok and to your email. Like it's not uncommon for your ASC product catalog to have a sale that's also reflected in your Google Shopping and your email campaign. Yeah. Because that person is just inherently lower in the funnel. Right. So it's great, but it's a luxury that has a purpose. Yeah. Sometimes you want only the luxury. Sometimes you're in a spot where that's just not the right tool for the job. If you're trying to hammer in a nail with a power drill, there's probably a better tool for the job, but sometimes that's exactly what you're trying to do.
Let's talk about, is DPA just good for retargeting, right? And number two, let's dive in on something I think is really important, that this is like a uniquely branded Charlie thing. The custom conversion events,
sure,
and the way that you have them set up, I thought was really compelling. So hit a little bit on that. Like, what is custom conversion events? Why are they important, specifically as it relates to prospecting?
Okay, yeah. So let's talk about custom conversion events, specifically how it relates to prospecting. There are really three things that I think 99% of marketers don't even know exists, and the 1% that do know exist, about half of them screw it up. So we're talking like edge use case people that are actually getting it right. Maybe 1 in 200, 300 people gets most of the way there. There are three things. Number one, you can use custom conversion events to understand if it's a new customer or a returning customer. Now that becomes really powerful with your catalog ads because you can understand what are CAC products and what are LTV products. And ultimately that means you can weaponize specific product sets to be customer acquisition devices and other ones to be LTV devices, which ultimately allows you to have different allowable CPAs and different performance metrics. Phenomenal. Right now, so many people think, I know what my CAC is. And I guarantee you, you're wrong. Your CAC is total amount spent divided by total net new customers. That's not actually what you're paying. If you say, all right, I spent $1,000 and I got 40 net new customers, or I got 50 net new customers, make the math easy. Then that means you have a $20 CAC. But it also means that every single repeat purchase was free. Or you could say, well, I've got a $20 blended CPA because I made 50 sales out of my $1,000. That means your CAC was zero. You're backing into a number. So it's kind of nonsense. Yeah. Why that matters for the custom conversion event is I can understand what is my CAC by product in my catalog.
Well, so just take one step back.
Sure.
What is a custom conversion event?
All right, so custom conversion events is something where you can define either based on offline data or around pixel data. You can say certain events are not only a purchase or a lead or whatever. You can define it as that and something else. So for instance, with the new customer side, I could say, I want to upload every time my Shopify reflects a new customer, I'm going to upload that. I make 100 sales. Maybe one of those sales is a new customer or 99 of them is a new customer. Right now, you only see purchase. And to be fair, in your catalog ads, you don't even know what products are being purchased. Custom conversion events will cover that, and we'll get to that in a second. But I can know of 100 sales if I upload an offline conversion event, which it can be a custom event, And then I can know individually which product was sold that acquired a new customer. And to set up your custom conversion events, you can go to the data sources and then event manager section. In the top right side of your screen, there's a little button that says create event, and then below, or create. And then below that, the very first option is create custom event. And then you can have, it's this thing with the URL parameter, and you can have it based on content IDs or post IDs or other events you're uploading. And so it's a really great way of segmenting your information. I look at it as, you have a bunch of purchases, let's put them in files. Let's organize the data.
Right. So what would be like a good, like, let's take like a real life example, right?
Sure.
I think this was really important for people to understand, like, cause the way setting up these custom conversion events is like, can tell you, it's really like a business intelligence tool if you set it up the right way. And so like, let's run through an example. Like, let's take like a leather goods company, for example, right? Like, how do you think like a leather goods company should set up custom conversion events? Like, walk through like how you would really think about that for them. Like, what should the events be specifically?
So for, let's say, a leather goods company, you're probably making shoes, bags, wallets, belts, jackets, things of that nature. All right. If I'm running a catalog ad, number one complaint, I don't know what product sold. I only know what got spent. Maybe I get impressions and click data. Awesome. You're flying blind and you're basically just measuring for incremental lift, which, by the way, you should be doing all the time anyway, because you have no idea. Attribution's a lie. That's a whole other thing. So let's say I have custom conversion events set up for product category. And I can know that I got a bunch of spend by each individual SKU by breaking down. If you go to your DPA campaign, your catalog, and you hit breakdown, and then you go to delivery, and then at delivery, at the very bottom of the list is product ID. You can now understand spend, impressions, clicks by product ID SKU. Yeah. And if you have custom conversion events that say, when somebody buys a bag, any bag, upload this as an offline conversion event, or upload this as a custom conversion event that is a bag seller.
Defined as bag purchase.
It's defined as a bag purchase.
So the events that we're tracking here are not like your typical pixel events that people are used to, which is simply like page view, add to cart, purchase. The events we're tracking here are categories of products.
Right. So in your catalog, you generally have a product categories as something that a lot of people do. You should probably have that, especially if you want to run on Google too. Probably a good idea to have the category.
Like the same way you have it organized on your website. You have a drop-down menu of your categories. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if it's a purchase of something that's a bag, you can upload that information. You can have that purchase defined as a bag buyer. When you look into your Facebook dashboard and you have those custom conversions, they now appear as new columns. So instead of having no idea what sold, you can now go to, I spent on these 100 items and 20 of them drove a bag purchase. You can actually get down to the individual item, the individual day. If you break down by hour and delivery, you can get down to the individual, like 60 minutes and your cost per each one of the items of that category. Which means you can now understand how effective is my catalog at driving bag sales or wallet sales or jacket sales or pants or like boots or whatever it is that you're selling.
Yeah. So doing through this methodology, you could actually, this is the only way to understand, because Facebook does not give you information about like which products in your catalog are selling. So this is the only method to actually understand the breakdown of like which products in your catalog are shining versus not.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be fair, if you have 100% of your products categorized, meaning I've got 100 products, they all fit into one of 5 categories. I'm going to now know every purchase that occurred from my catalog ad, what category of item I sold. Right. And what happens a lot is the thing that's like spending the 3rd time most money doesn't drive any sales at all. Yeah. It's a really great clickbait product that's just destroying your bank account. Wow. Get rid of it from your catalog. Or you might also find this product is tremendous at getting attention and it sells every other product. Yeah. Like you might have the Big Mac that gets people to go to McDonald's, but they're all just buying, chocolate shakes and McNuggets. You might have your Nike Jordan, but people are clicking on the Jordan ad and buying trainers and like pants and socks and shit, but they're never actually buying the sneaker.
Right. So like one of the things that I think even, we see DPA running for some of like the biggest brands in the world, right? Yeah. I think custom conversion events by category is a very seldom used best practice, right? And I think a lot of people do it the wrong way. But so if you don't have custom conversion events set up for your DPA and you rely on DPA today, you should have that set up, right? Because if you do it the right way, then you're able to understand what products in your catalog are actually selling, which is intelligence Facebook is not going to give you unless you go through this method, right? And if you do set up custom conversion events the right way, you can understand which products are selling best, which are not. And then as a result, you can action on that insight by like trimming your catalog and trimming products out.
You can absolutely trim your catalog. You can also understand what products are great at attracting attention, what products are great at getting clicks, and what products are great at driving sales. I dealt with a brand last year that was in the pet space, and they had a harness that in their catalog was the number 2, number 4, number 5, and number 7 position on most commonly spent. Drove 5% of sales. Reflected 47% of spend. We understood that product on the catalog was terrible. When we removed it, we've noticed that the revenue per session to the website went up. They actually ultimately removed that as a flagship product. They saw there was a ton of traffic. Your Google Analytics are going to say, hey, this product is getting attention, like people are interested. But it's because they're clicking on the catalog ad, and ultimately you're making sales for somebody else. And in retrospect, we found that basically people just weren't happy with the quality and the price is the wrong fit, and they just weren't. That was attracting the wrong type of buyer. It wasn't even that people saw that ad and bought something else. They just weren't buying anything. And so now you can understand what is a high quality impression or a high quality product, because it's like, you don't need to play with every card in the deck. Like, I remember as a kid, I played Magic in like 5th and 6th grade, right? Like I'm 40, give me a break. And like 95, like back in the day, you just play with every Magic card. And then eventually you get smart enough to be like, I'm gonna take some of these cards out. You should be 100% doing the same thing with a catalog. And ultimately you decide like, should I be even buying this inventory? Like if this product is net negative for my bottom line, why do I even have it? And if you don't do this at the catalog level with your Facebook campaigns, the only way you're going to understand this information is by potentially doing post-transaction surveys, which are more or less just self-fulfilling prophecies of what product did you buy? Oh, the product that you're promoting a lot. Why'd you buy it? Because I saw an ad. Fantastic. So we learned nothing here. Great.
So think about your catalog as a hedge that needs to constantly be trimmed. And manicured. And so you should be cutting off the leaves that are sticking out, that are causing a distraction, and just keep the core tight.
And another thing to this too is if you were to take a look at this data week over week, you would understand the changes in consumer behavior before your bank account reflects it. What is your burn rate on your site? Well, all of these things happen, but I can start to understand the spend and conversion rate by individual products by category. To understand, you know what, like the crossbody bags are just going out of season. You know, like, oh man, the boots are going out, but now all the little loafers are coming in. I'm going to know that because my catalog ad is converting people. My conversion rate on that ad is going up. The spend level is going up. But it's not just that it's interesting to folks, but if it's interesting to folks and the conversion rate is going up, I know what to lean into for inventory control.
Right. So now talking about inventory control brings up a really, really interesting topic. Okay. So how can brands have problems with inventory all the time?
Sure.
There's a lot
of taxes in inventory.
There's a lot of let's say stale inventory sitting in warehouses that needs to be liquidated. Big problem for brands, burning a hole in your wallet. How can you use DPA and catalog ads as a tool to liquidate stale inventory?
So this goes to something that I love to use, which I think sadly far too few people do, other than like the elite tier brands that are doing it across the board. And I think we were talking about this yesterday, and the use of custom labels. All of your 9-figure brands know their custom labels. A lot of your 7-figure brands don't even know it exists. So there's this thing where you can pass back to Facebook, I think up to 5 custom labels to categorize your products. If I have a custom label, I can define that it's custom label 0 through 4, or whatever you're going to have. I could have a custom label that says this is a sell-through product. This is about to be dead stock. Now, one of the things that a lot of clever marketers do is they make custom product sets for all the different products. Hey, I've got a bag category. I've got this, I got that. The problem is you can't ever edit a product set. You can't ever edit what a catalog ad shows. But that's actually not true. You can't edit what makes something eligible for the catalog. But you can say, this catalog is custom label 4 equals true or false. Now you can go to your individual products in the Shopify feed, and everything that's like, this is burning a hole on my warehouse. I'm either going to set this thing on fire or I'm going to sell it. But like, if it's there in 30 days, I'm losing money. Every one of those items, custom label for equals true. Now you can have a specific ad set or campaign with specific KPI targets to only highlight those items. And this is super popular, especially for products that have a shelf life or products that are seasonal. So I do this a lot for consumable goods, and I do this a lot for clothing brands. Yeah. Like if I know that it's a heavy coat and it's February or March, like I've got 30 days to move this thing or it's not going to sell till next year and the style's going to go out. Right. I can specifically highlight that as like, I'm going to have a specific concerted effort to move all this dead stock that I possibly can. Right. And then when you push that in your Facebook catalogs, you're going to see more search volume for it. You're going to see more TikTok. Like it's going to raise all ships, and you can make concerted email efforts for it. Right. And it becomes a force amplifying device to moving all of your stock that people aren't buying. Because to be fair, you're not promoting it.
And potentially the performance on that isn't going to rip as hard, but it's better than throwing it out.
Absolutely. Like right? If you can make 5 cents profit on something where otherwise you were going to throw it away.
Yeah, right. Right.
Lose 5 cents. Yeah. Get 10% of your money back is right. better than whatever. Like sure. At some point, you should probably just donate it to like the needy. Right. Like make it a PR play. Go for that. I've 100% been like, we can't move this product, so we send 100 of like this at-home gym thing to like the local schools. Fantastic. Made it a PR play. Great.
Yeah.
But if I could have sold those things for $5 a piece.
Yeah.
I would have not lost all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like $5K, or $500. That's not a lot, but you get the idea, right?
Right. So we have custom. So we have custom conversion events.
Yes.
Right. We have custom labels.
Absolutely.
Right?
These are, by the way, if you're not doing this, you need to do it like today.
Right.
And it doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like if you were to just kick back a few drinks at lunch today and come in and get one of these things done, you'll pay for your annual salary by the rest of the year and go home early. Job well done.
Amazing. So tell me, like, give me your ideal vision for what like someone who's starting out with like DPA, right? What should their first campaign look like? Like someone's like, how do I get started? What should my like setup look like when I'm starting DPA from scratch? What's your vision there?
Let's categorize this as I'm a brand with a hero offer. I've got my flagship offer and I'm going to run catalog to kind of bring everything else up. In that case, I'm going to launch with 2 audiences. One, DABA. When you open it up, it says prospecting for new audiences. It's the option on the left. I remember when that was like brand spanking new.
We'll splice that into the
yeah. So that will prospect. Now, it is prospecting. And a lot of people are like, well, Facebook prospecting, I got to give it audiences. I got to give it data. The prospecting audience of DABA is conquesting the funnel of your total addressable market. The reason somebody's seeing your ad is because they've shown signals to Facebook that they're interested in that product. When I was running New Balance, for instance, I'm not like wasn't CEO. I was running their ad account. Not former CEO of New Balance.
You were not the CEO of New Balance.
Yeah. Full disclosure. We knew when this was starting out that generally speaking, 2/3 of our daily budget on DABA, first impression, was that somebody that had added to cart in the last 7 days to one of our top 5 competitors. So you went to Nike, you went to Adidas, you went to Reebok, you went to Converse. You were looking at a pair of red trainers, size 8.5. You didn't buy. We got a size 8.5 red trainer. Facebook's like, look, Facebook's business objective is to give their end users the best possible experience. Yeah. You're shopping around. Let us be helpful to you. Right. Let us show you a product you didn't know existed or you weren't looking at. Boom, product number 1 in the set of the catalog ad. Great. Yeah. So DABA is retargeting, but it's retargeting the funnel of your total addressable market. Yeah. Also, I'm going to start with a bottom funnel audience. I'm going to start with something where I'm going to get generally I try to tell people to get 10,000 events, 10,000 actions. Right. So I'm going to go to my data sources. I'm going to go to my events manager. I'm going to look at, it defaults at 28 days to start with. And I'm going to see I've got X amount of view contents, X amount of add to carts. What I want to do is have the furthest down the funnel in the smallest amount of time that I can do to get to an action of 10,000. And what that means is maybe it's 10,000 add to carts, maybe it's 10,000 view content. Well, that doesn't mean that it's 10,000 people that viewed a product page. It means the product page pixel event fired 10,000 times. That's probably 2,000 to 5,000 customers that were shopping around. Right. But that's enough for you to be able to say, will a catalog work for me? Because I'm basically bottom funnel retargeting people that are already at my store and showing some intent. Right. Now that's amazing because it's going to get you cash flow and it's going to get you sales and it's going to teach the machine who to show a catalog to. So that effort is also training the DABA, right? So it's like the guide, right? Now, eventually that thing is going to not be able to scale up anymore. You like it either won't spend any more budget. You say this thing crushes. Let me put it at $200, but it only says 57 because there's just not enough people.
Yeah.
At that point, or if you start raising your budget and the CPAs go out nuts because you're realizing your daily frequencies at like a 3 or 4 or 5 and your CPMs get to like 100 or something, it's just not working. Then you can go further up the funnel, say an add to cart 3-day becomes a view content 3-day. That gives you a drop in efficiency, but a massive lift in scale. Or you could say a view content 3-day to a view content 10-day. You go longer in time. Longer in time is a lower drop in efficiency, but also a lower lift in scale, right? Going 3 days to 10, 3 times as many people. Right. Going from add to cart 3-day to view content 3 days, probably 4 or 5 times as many people, right? So that's how you can eventually scale that effort. And as you add in the new audience, exclude the smaller audience from the bigger audience. And if the bigger audience works, just turn off the smaller one, remove the exclusion, and then immediately when you went from view content 3 to view content 10, view content 10 works, you get rid of view content 3 and the exclusion, your view content 10 immediately gets better because it can also talk to people from the last 3 days. And you just work your way further back in time and further up the funnel. And so ultimately you can do that to profit from your DPA on day 1, while training the DABA to understand who responds to your ads. So it allows your DABA to learn faster and to scale sooner, understanding who's responding to your content.
Right. And let's review some critical don't do's.
Sure.
Don't create new catalogs. You should only have one source feed.
Absolutely.
Why? Because the learnings accumulate at the source feed level.
100%.
Just like a pixel.
Yeah, and I say this. We all know Facebook is a machine learning algorithm. What are you teaching it? If you have 3 feeds, that's 3 employees.
And are you consolidating the learnings all in one place? You don't want to spread out your learnings.
Do you want to have 3 dumb employees?
Or one
savage? Or one savage.
Yeah.
Give me one savage all day. Like people talk to me all the time about, look, my ads are fatiguing and like my Facebook's really unstable. And I'm like, how many different things are you poorly investing into, expecting miracles and firing your employee on day 3 because they weren't successful? Sure. Do you want 100 efforts that you spend no effort to train, that all are basically playing the lottery and then getting rid of everything that sucks on day 2? Or are you making an investment in your employees to take your savages and just give them more opportunity?
I think that's a great way to think about it. So and let's talk about fatigue real quick.
Sure.
Right? So I know that with other ad units that are really popular, like marketers love to talk about UGC because it's creative, it's fun, it's interesting, designing static image ads. Like, every founder loves to jump into Canva and slap together some stuff and test it. So that's the fun part of marketing, right? And so all this like static image creative, video creative, it fatigues really quickly and it's like a hungry machine that needs to always be fed.
Yeah.
Tell me about the fatigue profile of DPA. Like once you set it up the way that you've described, what should you do? You just kind of, what happens after that?
I mean, if you do it right, fatigue is something that cannot occur. And
that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
There's no other ad unit that has that characteristic.
Exactly. And there's 3 reasons that happens. Number 1, the reason somebody's clicking on your ad is not because of the content, like the style of the content, whatever. And you can have design treatments that make things more or less clicky and exciting, sure. But somebody's not clicking on that ad because of the hook. And they're not like stacking up a ton of comments that are positive,
it's an ad that looks like an ad.
Yes.
It's not trying to be like UGC tries to be ads that don't look like ads.
Yeah.
They try to trick users into thinking it's organic content. This, even if you have design treatments, right, applied
it's still
to
an
it,
ad.
it's obviously very much like, here's a product we are trying to sell you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to remember, like, generally speaking, I like to think of ads are billboards in the sky blocking the sunset. Like, you are a burden on my life. Now, if you come to the table saying, I'm an ad, here's all the products you've been really interested in, let me help you out. Now, you're doing me a solid and I have the choice of opting into that experience. And if I'm scrolling through and checking things out, like, I'm wearing 2 articles of clothing from Dandy Del Mar. Every time I get a catalog ad from Dandy Del Mar, I swipe through to see if there's new products. I'm engaged. I'm interested. I'm curious. I'm actually basically navigating their website without leaving Facebook, and I can see if there's anything new or interesting to me.
Exactly. So it's helpful.
It's helpful.
It's like that Amazon. It's in Amazon, you know, like that section where you, like, you may
down.
also like,
Absolutely.
and then a bunch of comparable products.
100%. These are all 4.5 star or up dog leashes in between $20 and $30 that are 4 feet long with a little extra handle on it. I may have not been buying stuff for New York City because my LA ones are too long. But yeah, so it's exactly that. And what I want people to go away with is understand that you think of your Facebook ad as a way to make sales. That is why you are struggling. You have to look at your relationship with Facebook as they are my business partner. And I've gotten into extreme debates with some very well-respected individuals of repute. And we very much disagreed on this. I think we're in a business relationship with Facebook. We give them a lot of money and they're selling us attention. The exchange, there's an economy. It is a game theory economy on the economics of attention for any like economist nerds. And really the point is this. If you can give people, the point of Facebook is to keep people on the platform for as long as possible and to keep them coming back as often as possible. The average person swipes the height of the Eiffel Tower on a daily basis.
Wild stat.
Yeah, wild stat. Google it. It comes up. I didn't make it, but like that's a stat that goes back to like the build to break days and like the original 100 Facebook disruptors. So yeah, let me get to this point. So the average person swipes the height of the Eiffel Tower on a daily basis. Your job is to get them to swipe just a little bit more or to engage just a little bit longer. And ultimately, why are your CPMs high? Because your content is a liability to Facebook's business model. Right. If your content makes somebody have a bad experience, Facebook will let you advertise, but they're going to charge you a higher unit rate. Gas is more expensive for you. Yeah. And so the unit economics is based purely on the end user experience, both on the platform and off. If your website takes 5 seconds to load and people hate it and they bounce all the time, your ad might crush, but your CPM will be astronomical. Like at Under Outfit, our website takes 2 seconds to load. If you look at it, it's one of the fastest websites. And we went from 50K a month to 7 million last month. It took like 2 years, right? So like the point is you have to respect the user experience on and off the platform. Right. And so DPA is a great way of giving people the exact experience they're looking for and letting them opt in or opt out. And if you make the design treatment interesting where somebody likes it and they want to engage, all you're going to do is get a lower frequency with a lower CPM, which ultimately gives you better unit economics to make sales for a more efficient price.
Right. So speaking of the engaging experience, right? You would think like, man, catalog ads is just product images, right?
Sure, yeah.
And like, obviously the designed video content and image content would have a higher click-through rate because it's more interesting. Sure. Actually, we did I don't know if you know this, we didn't like bring it up yesterday, but we partnered with Varos.
Oh yeah, I heard this on the Dara. Yeah.
Dude, this was crazy. So we looked at like, I think it was like, let me see, it was we analyzed 3,500 e-com brand ad accounts.
Decent data set, like
$4 billion in ad spend was included among this.
Nice
right?
chunk change, sure.
Okay, and we separated DPA from performance from the performance of like everything else.
Yeah.
Right? And so DPA versus everything else on a click-through rate level is 36% higher click-through rate on average than everything else.
Yeah, which
is crazy.
Yeah, because you've clearly defined the intent. Right. I'm only stopping my scroll because I want to click on this thing. I'm not getting tricked into watching a story. I don't have some UGC person where like it's a pretty girl and I just want to see what happens. I'm not like waiting to get to the end of the shtick. I'm not reading the image to see all the product. Like I'm stopping on this thing because I want that pair of boots. Or that looks interesting to me. I'm in market. Let me see what else they have. Exactly. Yep. Yeah. So you are giving somebody a user experience that is engaging, that levels up their experience on the platform. And as a result, you're getting much higher levels of intent with things that are way clickier and way more profitable for you.
It's crazy how something that is really pegged for being so like boring, bland, and like marketers, let's be real. You guys are listening to this, you guys are marketers, you don't look at DPA as something exciting. The setup is boring. It's a bunch of spreadsheets.
Yeah.
You know, like how stale does that sound? That's not what we want to do as marketers. But man, the irony that something so uninteresting is actually like so interesting to people because of the delivery.
Oh yeah,
is amazing.
I'll say this: like I heard the interest, the talking with Dara, where he's like, it's boring and all this stuff. Like I am probably objectively one of the top 5 worst creative people in the world. I love DPA. I love catalog. I've been running catalogs since 2016, 2017.
Yeah. And you don't need to rely on creative
No,
service,
you don't.
because you're working with brands all the time
Yeah.
that their creative team is like underwater, bandwidth is tight.
I can be a marketing strategist that is understanding my customer journey, my sales funnel, and my unit economics. I will beat any creative director if I use the tools and the way the machine was designed to be used. And for me, DPA is super exciting because I suck at creative. People give me images or videos of like, is this good? I don't know. And even with Dara, you were like, which ad was good? She's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
And I get to so many people that are like, well, my ads are going to crush because they're beautiful. Like, I don't care. Your ads might crush. Great. I'm going to make more money. And I'm going to do it in a way that is sustainable. And what's most important about DPA, the dynamic product ads, like dynamic creative, is that all of the data is consolidated to a single unit. So it gets smarter. When you build an individual ad, over time, it will only get dumber and will only ever get worse. Maybe it learns, but ultimately there's a learning curve and it dies. There's a life cycle. Dynamic pieces only get smarter. So as long as you work on the business model of what you're doing with that attention, it will only ever be stable or get better, or it'll fluctuate with like the unit economics. Like, of course, January is going to be more popping on CPMs than June because of like 1,000 things, but you're still playing around with known aspects. Where what I care about most is business intelligence and financial results. DPA is fantastic because in the world of the scientific method, it's a constant.
Yeah. So let's say, we are like, pretty much in just 40 minutes, right?
Sure.
Someone should just be able to walk away from this video, right? I mean, with editing, it's probably going to be 30, but, someone should walk away from this video right now being able to have the knowledge on exactly how to set up their DPA campaigns to start making money from day one without a creative strategist, with custom conversion events set up, with custom labels set up, knowing to understand exactly how to trim your catalog over time to make it more effective, knowing how to use the catalog to get rid of your excess inventory.
Absolutely.
The value that's provided in just what we covered right now, you should be able to crush it with an e-commerce brand using DPA right off the bat. Now, you're set up. You've got it rolling now. Let's talk about creative, right?
Sure.
Why is creative so previously? Why do all DPA ads look like crap?
There's 3 reasons for that. One, because the product feed was initially set up to just pull from Shopify, so it's the ugliest, boringest thing that you have on your website. But also that worked. And to be fair, it's not an accident that DPA ads look like Google Shopping ads and look like Amazon. There is a reason that these experiences are all very universal, and it's because basically the consumer expectation has been set by the market. Got it. Number 2, it is extraordinarily difficult to manually go and make this thing exciting. I've done it. And I've had designers go up and update the thing, and you can have one variation, and that is extremely expensive and a massive time suck. And I've dealt with other solutions over the years that kind of optimize that stuff, but it is extremely difficult to even know if it's going to help. Because by the time you get done doing it and deploying it and testing it, maybe the market shifted and all advertising got better or worse. You don't even know if your effort paid off. Right. And then the third thing is that I don't think people realize the value of how to optimize the creative exposure for these types of placements, because they just say, oh, that's a thing, I'm checking that box. I don't like it because I'm motivated by, to be fair, I think a lot of creatives are motivated by what's exciting and their ego being like, I made this ad, it looks great, I'm going to run and see if it makes money. I don't care. I want to make money. And if I can give people a user experience that's exciting, then I'll lean into that. And I think because of so many of those things, the lack of ability for people to easily do it on their own. And also it's a sandbox with not a lot of options.
Yeah.
So people just look at it as like, I can spend my time making this catalog and maybe and I'll do some colors here, there, blah, blah, blah. Or I can go make 10,000 UGC videos where I'm on camera having fun. One of those things will print money for years. The other one is you on camera.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and this is why like we started Marpipe, right? Because we saw back in the day before Marpipe, I used to run a performance creative agency.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we would start working with these like e-com brands that had these we'd look in their ad account and we'd be like, God damn, 85% of their ad spend is going into DPA. Like, and assuming that they have the setup correct, there's nothing we can do as creatives, right? To like optimize, to make that any better, right?
Yeah, maybe you're starting to play with the frames or something like that, which are
nerfed.
Yeah,
hell.
just
frames.
No bueno.
Yeah. Also, little known fact, frames are when you run a frame, it only runs on Facebook feeds is the only place. Not on Instagram or
so it won't show anywhere else. So it's like only this limited set. So if I'm like a cool brand where 90% of my deliveries on Instagram and I'm testing frames, you're not doing anything other than making your machine gun.
Also, it like always cuts off your product image and stuff, and it's just
like people don't get the padding right. Like I was dealing with a business where all of their product image from Shopify are 4x6.
Yeah.
And I just like, well, so all their DPA ads have these white borders on them.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's a simple fix. It's just a matter of you caring about this delivery.
Exactly. So that's why we built Marpipe, because we were like, man, like, what if someone had the ability to like totally have complete creative control over what their catalog ads look like, right? And be able to do like experiment with things like bringing in more product data into the actual creative. Like when you see a catalog ad, you just see the image of the product, right? But like there's so much more information about the product that can help consumers make, like bringing in the price into the creative.
Sure.
If it's on sale, slash through the original price and show the sale price.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right? If it's like, if you have like a buy now, pay later scheme going on, right? Calculate what the buy now, pay later price is. That's like having an always on sale.
Yeah, slap on the Klarna logo, call it a day.
Right. And also multi-image, like bringing in multiple images into the to be able to see like, if you're selling furniture, right?
Yeah.
Imagine being like DPA rips for like furniture, home goods, apparel companies.
Oh yeah.
Being able to not just see a flat lay of like the shirt or the couch, like in floating in the white space in the matrix.
Right.
But seeing it in like a nice interior design setting or seeing the clothes on a model.
Yeah.
Right? Like just gives more product context to
Absolutely.
that specific SKU.
Totally.
That definitely like that will lift conversion, right?
100%.
And so, but it's just impossible to do that because if you have like 100 SKUs, 500 SKUs, you're gonna have to design.
Yeah, the photo shoot will be for you just can't do it.
You can't do it. So you need to have a system that actually can scale it, and that's exactly what Marpipe does. So using a tool like Marpipe,
right,
you're able to go from having zero creative control over your catalog ads to having complete creative control over them. And so you're able to sort of bring in elements that you were never able to include in your creative before and start testing and experimenting with it.
And without having to invest heavily in making 10,000 images because the program is doing it in like a minute.
Exactly.
And ultimately, one of the things I love about that is like, if you do have that new customer conversion event and what creative treatment appeals to people that haven't bought from you before? What creative treatment gets people who do know you to really be interested? Like maybe there needs to be heavy branding in the color scheme, or maybe there needs to be more highlights in these are our CAC products that we're running a discount on. Let's make sure that these individual items have the discount labeled on all of the prices. And as we change the price, we don't have to go back and re-render 1,000 images.
Exactly, right.
Like the fact that you can do that dynamically in a way where you don't have to actually change the ad means that you don't have to reset the machine when you're paying a hefty price to teach it how to do its job.
That's one of the coolest things about testing catalog creative is because you actually there's no learning period.
Right.
It's actually just like normally when you test like static image ads, you have to wait for them to learn and see like how they perform in a few days. You do not have a learning curve like that with catalog creative. Yeah,
because they're leveraging so much Facebook data on the source feed and consumer buying information. Like you're leveraging trillions of data points that already exist. Facebook's using your content to give somebody that highly engaging, positive user experience. So there's like, it just makes sense that you should be also treating this thing that could easily be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80% of your budget with the same level of intent as you do your landing page.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like it gives marketing teams like more ability to have like more influence over how their DPA performs over time. Because like let's say you're running a sales event,
sure,
right? Man, that is one of the lowest hanging fruit like performance wins for
Absolutely.
DPA. Like you would have no way of showing in your DPA creative that you are running a sale previously. Yeah. So sale heavy brands like, dude, I mean, like they could not run sales using DPA before.
Right? Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
you could not visualize that there's like a sale happening in the actual creative. That changes the game completely for them.
No, absolutely. Like the fact that you could have a custom set of info on the treatment that says this is a Black Friday sale.
And I know that like as performance marketers, we don't really like to talk about like brand and brand lift, but like for brands that don't run sales, right? They are really heavy on like, okay, like we need to get like, they're heavy on brand lift, right? And brand recognition, right? And so when you're running catalog ads for like a brand that doesn't rely on sales and promotions, it's important to like, you're paying for every impression that you serve with catalog creative, and it's traditionally unbranded.
Yeah.
Right. And in MarPipe, there's a button where you literally press a toggle button and it removes the white backgrounds from everything and makes them transparent. Slap in a branded background with your brand colors and slap in your logo. Boom.
Done.
You are now for free, like for every impression that you're spending, you are now getting brand recognition and brand lift for every impression, where otherwise you would not.
Running that exclusively will improve the efficiency on your Google search.
That's great. I never even thought about that, actually.
I mean, I've done it at scale. Trust me. Because now you just made your brand something that people know because, the brand's up at the page logo. Okay, cool. But now if it's in each individual product.
I wonder if there's like a way, like, and I'm just thinking in real time here, I wonder if there's a way we could approach brand, like these big brands who run DPA, like they're serving so many unbranded impressions.
Sure.
Is there a way we could like show them like, hey, here's how much brand lift you might be missing out on?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, I've done power lift studies with Facebook and cross-platform studies for incremental lift with branding and not branding. And back in the day, I've done some of this stuff, in the original Disruptor Group and some other things. And there was a direct correlation to Google search and Amazon traffic when the brand was actually reflected in the DPA ads, if the DPA was a significant portion of the budget, right? I mean, if you're getting 5,000 impressions a day with your DPA, odds are it's not going to move the needle. Right. If you're spending $5,000 a day, you're probably going to rank higher on Amazon and make more money with your branded search, because now your brand name exists. Yeah. And and also like one of the things with the DPA is there's only so many things you can do, right? There's the primary text, there's the highlight, like, and all of it's truncated. So one of the beautiful things with these overlays with the brand or anything else is you can squeeze more information. And ultimately, I also want to call out that maybe more information isn't necessarily a good thing. Sometimes the best performing DPA ads aren't the ones that are squeezed full of stuff. Yeah. It's, I know what I'm looking for. Yeah. This is it. Oh, I haven't seen this. Like the number one experience that I see is, I know what I'm looking for. I'm shopping for dog leashes or t-shirts or whatever. I know what I'm in the market for. This is a new brand. Yeah. I haven't seen this one yet. I haven't bought yet. Yeah. I've said no to everything else. Right. Immediately, I'm going to scroll. Yeah. Right. So while all of this stuff is fun, also remember that the real hack is making it interesting, but simple.
Yeah. There's also like categories of like companies that fit into this thing where it's like they need to add product context to their product image. Like for instance, like beauty and healthcare companies. Sure. Like the picture of the product is just a cylinder tube. Yeah. Like you don't know, like, okay, like let's say you're in the market, like, not you, but maybe you're right. Or no, you're in the market for nail polish. Sure. Okay. So like, you just see like a tube, right? And like for healthcare companies, they have like very, like, they all have like these value props that really differentiate them from others. Like maybe they like, have like, a certain ingredient that is really special. Yeah. Right. Maybe they have lack thereof, like they're all natural, right? Yeah. And so there's all these there's specific, it's a very competitive space in like supplements and in beauty and in cosmetics. And then there's
GMO free, vegan, all natural, whatever you're like.
These things should be like, because otherwise you're just looking at pictures of tubes.
Yeah, like what can you put in 10 letters or less?
Yeah, right. So like having that sort of added context is like can be a make or break for brands like that.
Absolutely. And if it's a vertical product, you can have iconography on the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Boom, done. Like the fact you can put that, the trick is making it simple. Iconography with product images is great. And I mean, ultimately, you have to understand the DPA ad is not, video ads are there to educate people and to get them interested. Image ads are there for people to understand more context, which is generally why videos sit higher in the funnel. Images sit more lower in the funnel. You can check your CPMs and your frequency and your percentage of spend, and like you can do a 4PI analysis and understand how Facebook's using your ads. DPA ads are, generally speaking, I'm in the market. Either I like this brand and want to see what they have, or I don't know about this one because I haven't made a decision yet. That's like 85% of the use case. And if you're a retailer, for instance, like selling other things, like if you're Macy's, you can have Nike, Adidas, and whatever. You can have all the brand logos in if you want to. But like the point is, it's just a little bit more. And what really you have to figure out is how do I make the simplest, best sales pitch by adding a little bit of value that is a pattern interrupt from what most people are seeing?
Right.
And I'll say this too. Some of the best DPA exposures I've had, some of the best brands that I've seen are ones where what they're using is they're using this space to push lifestyle.
Yeah, right. That's very interesting.
And like Dandy Del Mar, I mentioned them earlier. The Dandy Del Mar catalog is all lifestyle pictures.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
There's no product.
They don't
it's
have
just
flat lay product.
No flat lay products. It's just these people living like their best life. And you're like, I want to live that life. Here are all the products. Which one's right for me?
Right.
And they crush.
Right. One interesting piece is like we have brands who come to us who want to do exactly that, but cannot because their feed doesn't already include lifestyle images.
Sure.
And they're like, okay, so the way we have our feed set up is, it's all just like flat lays of our products. It's like products on white background, or
it's like 3D renders and it's not even a real product.
Sure, right. Yeah. But we do really want to test bringing in lifestyle images into our feed and running that in our catalog ads. But maybe we don't want to have that as image number one in our PDP.
Sure.
So, like Marpipe is a tool that you could use to actually just like insert the lifestyle creative, and then just like test having lifestyle creative in your catalog ads as opposed to the flat lays without having to change what your image one in your PDP.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like and what is really important here too is your Facebook ads should be incremental to the rest of your business. It's a business amplification device. So if I know that my website is kind of dialed in, I'm just trying to find what is the Facebook ad that best sets people up to land on my website and be ready to buy. Now, if that means that I've got a lifestyle business that's heavily branded, if my ads are also lifestyle and heavily branded, then when somebody lands on my webpage, that user experience has far more continuity. Conversion rate going to go through the roof. Dylan Ender from Heat Map was here yesterday. We were talking about that, right? And so that continuity isn't just in images. It's also in vibe. It's also in brand. And you'll see a lot of performance marketers don't really care about brand. And I think that's because they're not motivated by the business results of their marketing. Yeah, right. And there's a big difference between a growth marketer and a performance marketer. Yeah. And you'll see performance marketers run catalog at the bottom of the funnel to get the best return on ad spend they possibly can. And then the business owner says, great, where's all the extra money? Yeah. And it's not there. So if you can push these product design treatments in your catalog, it will lift all other things. Yeah. Because Facebook is ultimately the volume knob on the rest of your business model. And if that first touch gets the rest of the brand vibe, you've nailed it. Yeah. Like, one of the best treatments of that I've seen lately, just in like branding stuff, Balenciaga had this thing where it was like the most obnoxious stuff ever, right? But like you knew it immediately, right? Like, and it maybe made sales, who knows? But like the idea is the ads got the vibe of the brand across. You immediately knew what you were buying into. Because to be fair, nobody cares about your product.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about your business. Yeah. You are not special. Like 99.999% of products are commodities. The reason somebody buys from you versus somebody else is either because you've been able to solve a problem by overcoming objection for value. They're like, but wait, there's more moment of like Ginsu knives and all the Guthrie Banker infomercials, which you should 100% be looking at. But also like,
those are textbooks.
Is there functionally that big of a difference between like any number of like New Balance to Nike to Reebok to Hoka? It's the reason people are buying. And I think the best example of this and the lesson, if you ever watch Mad Men, Don Draper's character, part of the treatment for his psychology is that he was teaching people the consumerism that was pushed by him was not that you're buying this product to solve a problem. You're sure, but you're also buying this product because of a lot of other reasons. And one of the most important ones is what it makes people think about you. And ultimately, you're spending money for aspiration, whether it's gift giving for Mother's Day. I want to make my mom or my wife or my mother of my daughter, I want to make her feel a certain way. I'm buying to aspire to that emotional response. Or I'm buying this car versus that car because when I roll up, people are going to think a certain way, which is also one reason I love going to like highfalutin events in my Kia. And like everybody's got their Lamborghini, Porsche, all sorts of stuff. And I roll in like a $30,000 electric car from like Korea. And I'm like, here are the keys, homie. And like, I didn't get a car wash. Like it's a complete whatever. But like we are able to spend money on items to ultimately help us with our identity and the quality of life and who we are going to be. Right. And if your ads can push that across, then you are now no longer a commodity. You are helping people ultimately spend money to improve their self-worth and their image of themselves and what they think people think of them. Yeah. And being able to get that into your catalog ad versus just a picture of a sneaker is fundamentally different, right? So like, if it's just the shoe, great. But if it's the shoe and it's like a runner in Central Park and like, oh, I want to be that guy. I really want to get out and like, I got to start running all this stuff. The ad itself, the creative, can get you buying in to that lifestyle. And ultimately, that should be as early in the touch point in the customer journey as possible. And the fact that people don't look at that in their catalog ads and creative to ultimately hack brand growth and repurchase rate and LTV and stickiness is, to me, at one point upsetting and shocking, but also an amazing opportunity to provide people a turnkey solution to some of the biggest business problems that allow them to spend the other 98% of their time worrying about things that are more important.
Dude, it's amazing to see, you know, your perspective on DPA catalog ads and the role that it has to play in e-commerce businesses is unique and refreshing and confirms everything that we've seen day in and day out. You know, like I know you look at ad accounts all day. We see hundreds of ad accounts that run DPA, and you know, everything you said reinforces like what we have been seeing work and what we've been seeing not work. And just to recap everything that we covered here, right? Like,
okay, let's try to do it.
So quick rundown is, in the first half of this, we taught you how to set up a DPA campaign from scratch, which means the core tenets of that: custom conversion events, custom labels, the actual the nuts and bolts setup of where are you on the retargeting versus prospecting spectrum.
Yeah, how to make money on day one and spend up with confidence.
ASC versus old school DPA versus DABA, right? What does it mean? What's the difference, right? So you know how to set up DPA campaigns and how to make sure those are running. And then and by the way, and then number 2 was about the creative side, right? And where we can optimize beyond that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm saying this against my own interest. You should totally have your catalog ads set up and running, or like with just like the core fundamentals before you breach into something like creative optimization, right?
Like make it work and then spend the profit margin by making it work a lot better. Exactly. You need an MVP, because the honest truth is, some brands catalog doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And so
And that's totally fine.
And if you test catalog, and this is largely a lot of like low SKU brand, right? If you have one SKU, one hero product, if you're like a one product store, or you have like 10 SKUs or 15
Like, I was talking to our buddy from Hostage Tape.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, he's like, dude, he DM'd me on Twitter. What is the deal with DPA? And I'm like, dude, there's a lot of stuff. Check the video, but it's probably not right for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's totally viable.
Yeah. Just yesterday, I was on a demo call where someone wanted to use MarPipe, and I was like, "Have you run DPA yet?" They're like, "No, never." I'm like, "How many SKUs do you have?" They're like, 12. And I'm like, you know what? I'm saying this against my own interest. I could close the sale right now,
Sure.
but I'm just gonna tell you, look, I don't think DPA is gonna work for you because of those red, like those are like orange flags. It doesn't mean it won't. You should test it. It might work for you, but you should run just like vanilla DPA ads. And if you try it and it's nowhere even in the ballpark or horizon of performance that you need, then creative optimization is only gonna help you so much.
Yeah,
It
like you
won't-
can only shine a turd. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to turn into diamond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not right for everyone. We recommend definitely always doing like the original vanilla setup. And if that works in your ballpark of performance, then you can absolutely take it to the next level with
100%.
creative optimization, right?
Yeah.
And so that's where someone like a tool like MarPipe would come in.
Yeah. And I love that because that's also like business integrity and relationships. Like there's a difference between a SaaS company that doesn't care about you and products that are underpriced because there's no support and basically somebody built some tech a while ago and it's just a team of salespeople.
Yeah.
Versus somebody whose vested interest is in helping you be successful because it also helps them be successful. And you do not have, I've done creative treatments with other services over the years. And we talked about some of them, right? And I ended all of those relationships. Some of them were cheaper. Some of them were astronomically more expensive. But there's a fundamental difference between the person behind it trying to have tech that it makes a good sales pitch and somebody who's an entrepreneur trying to make successful business relationships that cares about your bottom line. And the fact you and I are both folks where I was on a call today with somebody to join the MBA program and I was like, I don't think this is the right spot for you. Yeah. You're not at the place yet where like, this is going to work. Right. And I had another call with somebody who was like, I think you're like, this is the piece that's missing. Yeah. And I think we're both in that spot of, we're not going to get you from standing to running. Like, we're not going to get you the momentum. Yeah. We're not going to get you started, right. But we'll get you from a crawl to a walk to a run. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. It's not going to be the tool on day one. It's going to be the thing that when you get going makes everything better.
Exactly.
But it's not the fix.
100%.
It's not the miracle silver bullet that's going to work on day one. DPA should do that for you. And if it's profitable and scalable, then it's a small investment you can make in amplifying a piece that should be a significant portion of your marketing efforts. And at that point, it's a drop in the bucket.
Exactly. And that's why, both me and you are like long-term thinkers, right? In terms of our relationships with folks. And that's why we turn away people from MarPipe all the time who aren't ready for something like this. But luckily, when they are ready and it's time to they learn how to crawl, like we are there to help you. We're patient. So yeah, I mean that's I think other players. You look at people who are more short-sighted, sure, and like will grab any revenue that they can right off the bat. I think that's not setting up people for success. But anyway, man, dude, I think we covered so much amazing stuff here.
Yeah,
dude, we've got this is gonna be awesome, man. I can't wait for this to drop. I think folks are gonna love it.
No, I think people will be stoked, and we'll make sure there's a link for checking out MarPipe. We'll put that in and make sure that everybody gets taken care of, and that they'll be set up from day one. And I'll say this: I think it's really important to understand how your business makes money, and to not chase the Joneses, but just see what works for you. And if you are a business where selling multiple SKUs and having multiple paths to a transaction is good for you and a level up for what you're doing, and you are scaling that, and ultimately you've addressed the strategy, you know what works, adjusting the creative of what you put into a visual experiential environment is a no-brainer to try. And very, very rarely have I ever seen people that can make something work, that make it a better experience, not see a return on making their customer happier with seeing what they're doing. Like it makes it so easy to justify, because the bottom line only has to be a little bit extra each day. Like it's my point to all that being that I'm glad somebody made it easy in a way where they care about the end customer. And I think that what I hope is that we've helped people understand not only the value, but more importantly, also what to do when they get there. And if you're not ready to join, if you're not ready to get it, if it's not right for you, maybe what we've talked about today is how to set the machine up to be successful, so that you go from being stressed out to being successful and have the opportunity to actually leverage this thing to amplify what you're doing.
Dude, incredibly well put. Incredibly well put. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
You're in my space, but
I'm in your space.
I'm coming into your space also.
Yeah.
So it was a great jam, and thank you guys for watching along. Thanks. Hi, Charlie people.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much, dude. We'll chat later.
Sounds good, man.
All right.
Woo! Good dude.
Yeah.
This hasn't been an ad account theory video. This is a bank account video, and I hope you really enjoyed it. So let's talk about next steps, the resources to get you winning. You want all the guides, the best practices, and the templates? They're right here. One more time, go to this link, you'll get all of it. And this way you can rewatch this video, bookmark it. There's chapters down below so you can work your way through the beginner stuff, the advanced stuff, and those catalog cult elite tactics. And follow along, not only in the video, but also with your own handbook, so that you can see the most amount of success with the least amount of stress and get your bank account to where it should be. And if you're ready to go deeper, join Disruptor Academy. There's the link one more time. This is where we're going to be able to dive into your ad account, give you point-by-point bit of advice and instruction. You'll get my time. We're regularly breaking down ad accounts. We're roasting them live. We're getting Q&As every single week and guest speakers to help you see all the success that you deserve. And if you're already scaling and want to creative test your catalogs at a level that you've never even known was possible, check out MarkPipe. The link is literally right there, okay? Right here, right there. I highly recommend it. I've known the guys running this platform for years, and there's nobody else that I ever send anybody to. They're who I trust with my money, and so should you. Remember that catalog ads aren't just for big brands, they're for smart advertisers. The ones who understand that the path to scale is simplicity and just measuring your success against what actually matters and using the simplest tools to help elevate that opportunity. Now you've got everything that you need, so get into your ad account and start printing money. And if you really enjoyed this video, I'd love your support, share it with other friends, and if you want to dive even deeper on other things, check this out. All right, you can also subscribe over here, and until next time, I'll see you on the internet. Bye.